In Nigeria right now, kidnappings and killings are spreading like wildfire. Families receive sudden, terrifying phone calls. "We have your daughter. Pay or she dies." Sometimes the families pay. Sometimes the daughter dies anyway. Mothers weep, fathers rage. Entire communities lament. This localized agony echoes an ancient, universal sorrow. It is the sound of Rachel weeping for her children after Herod's soldiers slaughtered the infants of Bethlehem. Babies ripped from their mother's arms, swords, blood, screaming. And yet, written from within the same ancient world that produced these ruins, the Apostle Paul issues a directive to the Thessalonians. Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances. Look closely at that phrasing. He specifies all circumstances. Read at face value, telling a grieving mother whose child was just murdered to give thanks appears completely untethered from reality. It feels actively cruel. If we are commanded to express gratitude for atrocities, for cancer, or for kidnappers, then the text depicts a God who orchestrates evil and demands praise for it. If faith requires this type of toxic positivity, it functions as emotional abuse. We have likely misunderstood the logic of the original text. The confusion stems from the way we translate a single Greek preposition. Look at the Greek phrase Paul wrote, en ponti eucharistete. The preposition en translates to in, not because of. Paul never says to give thanks for all circumstances, like genocide. The command is to give thanks in all circumstances. The mother whose child is taken doesn't thank God for the kidnapping. She might thank God for the community mourning alongside her, for the promise of ultimate justice, or for the comfort of a God who also watched his own son be tortured. This centers the gratitude on who God is, rather than the evil that is happening. To see how this works, we must look at the two commands Paul puts directly in front of it: rejoice always and pray continually. Modern assumptions often equate rejoicing with faking happiness, or prayer with speaking only polite, sanitized words to God. But the ancient writers practiced something much grittier, the tradition of lament. Job's bitter accusations against the heavens, David's screaming psalms of rage, and Jeremiah's absolute despair are all recognized as legitimate forms of prayer. Refusing to go silent and staying in an honest, even angry conversation with God fulfills the command to pray continually. The ancient text validates your raised pain. But this creates a deep psychological tension. How is it possible to practice agonizing lament and genuine gratitude in the exact same moment? In the Psalms, bitter complaints, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" sit right next to declarations of trust. These two states are presented as simultaneous rather than sequential. Consider the Book of Lamentations. It is an entire book of unresolved horror, detailing the destruction of Jerusalem, starving children, and extreme violence. Yet, right in the middle of these 5 chapters of Rebel, the writer declares that God's faithfulness is new every morning. The author weeps for a genuine evil, while thanking God that he is not alone in the dark. Holding these two opposing emotions together is the core of biblical realism. Practicing thanksgiving does not erase or bypass the lament. Instead, finding a single thread of gratitude acts as an anchor. It fastens the sorrow to something solid, preventing grief from breaking loose into despair. A person can weep in the face of tragedy and maintain a profound faith. In this framework, the weeping itself is prayer. But even if God is present within the tragedy, we are left with a staggering problem. If God has the power to stop the kidnapping, why doesn't he?